Hey folks, hope you're okay and welcome to this week's video. Now we're going to be talking about a hot topic really, and that is bloating and what causes bloating, why we get it, what we can kind of do to get rid of bloating. We need to know the difference between bloating or irritation, i.e. intolerances to certain foods, and finally how to reduce bloating and why we need to reduce bloating as well. So I'm going to put this voiceover over some of my recent training clips, so go ahead and sit back, relax and just listen to the audio while you're watching some of the training. There will be some text overlays as well, but sit back, relax, enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please do go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You can check out all the other previous content and get stuck into that. If you've got any comments, questions or concerns, post them down below and I'll be happy to help you out and answer them. So we're going to get into the video and we're going to get into the topic. So what is bloating? Now bloating is essentially swelling or distension of the stomach or belly. It can be followed by kind of burping, gas, abdominal discomfort. There may be even the feeling of over fullness where you've eaten too much maybe. It involves it's basically involving excessive amounts of solids, liquids or gases in the digestive system, and it's your body's way of dealing with that. Now most cases are simple, with about 16 to 30% of people reporting issues, but it's a concern for psychological and physiological reasons as well. It's not very appealing to yourself when you see that your stomach is distended or kind of bloated. Okay, so increased gas is probably the most common cause, and as bad as it sounds, ladies, we just still have to pass that gas. Okay, it can be quite a difficult thing to feel comfortable doing, but we just have to get rid of it. So what causes bloating? The most common causes are the foods that we eat. Okay, so we also need to look at chewing gum, maybe eating a little too fast, eating too much food per meal. Okay, yes, okay, we want to hit our calorie intake if we're in a surplus, maintenance or deficit, but at the same time we want to make sure that we're not getting it all in one meal, that we could potentially spread it over 2 meals, 3 meals maybe, just so we don't get necessarily bloated too much. Trying to consume maybe 30 grams of fibre in 2 meals is going to be quite taxing on the digestive system. So eating fatty foods can be another one. When the food is quite high in fat per meal, it can be quite a difficult one for the stomach to deal with. Eating foods that cause gas, such as beans, vegetables and other foods high in fibre. Indigestion. Ladies' menstrual periods can be quite a difficult one with bloating happening. Carbonated beverages, constipation, smoking, artificial sweeteners, dairy products and salty foods can all be major factors as well. So we need to distinguish between bloating and irritation or intolerances. Now, the biggest way of telling the difference whether you're bloated or whether you've got an intolerance to something is if you are passing solid stools, then chances are that your digestive system is still working okay and you've probably just consumed a little too much in the way of fibre. If you eat something and quite soon after eating it you need to go to the bathroom and it's quite soft, it's quite runny, you may just find that you're having a bit of an irritation to it. Okay, so notice the difference in the stools and the bowel activity. Some foods will have a positive or negative impact on that. So diarrhea, pain or serious discomfort is more likely to be irritations and could be an intolerance to foods. Most common are like lactose intolerance, you've got fructose intolerance, eggs, wheat and gluten can be another big one as well. Now the other thing that we want to make sure we're aware of is intestinal disorders. So if you are suffering any serious problems, it may just be worth going to your GP and getting seen to, as you may have a potential intestinal disorder, something like IBS, IBD or SIBO. So make sure that if you are suffering quite seriously, go and get that checked out by your doctor. So how do we reduce bloating? The easiest way of reducing bloating is through a healthy diet. Okay, through exercise is another good one. Identifying the foods that cause bloating. Okay, when you notice the foods that cause bloating, it's very easy to remove them from your diet. Besides fruit and veg, most foods are unnecessary, so removing them will be a positive. Now, for example, you don't just have to eat fruits and vegetables, but foods similar to maybe donuts, sweets, chocolate, biscuits, cakes, crisps, all those kind of foods tend to be quite simple sugars. The body doesn't necessarily recognise them as well as fruits and vegetables, and it can cause a little bit of irritation, so be very wary of those. Eat smaller meals and or eat slower when you are eating your meals. Try to start when you're about 80% full. Another good tip with this is make sure that you eat your protein first on your plate, then start to look at your vegetables, and then start to look at your carbs. And you'll probably find at that point, when you start to hit the carbs, that you're already feeling full and you potentially won't want to eat them. So you'll be getting a good quality of nutrients in there without overeating on your calories. So reduce fatty food intake. I mentioned this a minute ago. When we eat quite high fatty foods, we can find that the stomach is a little bit irritated because there's a lot of fatty acids going around in the stomach, and the stomach acid and the gut doesn't necessarily enjoy that. Make sure that you avoid fizzy drinks where possible. Now, if you're in a diet period and you're having carbonated drinks that are 0 calorie, be careful that you don't overconsume on them because they can make you feel bloated. Avoid overconsumption of fibre, and typical guidelines are around 10 grams per 1,000 calories. I do tend to go slightly above this, so for females it's around 25 to 30 grams, and males it's around 35 to 40, just so you're making sure that you're getting enough fibre in but you're not going too high. And if you're not tracking your food and you have no idea how much you're consuming in terms of fibre, it may just be worth for a week consuming your normal diet and then just seeing how much fibre you're actually intaking in there. Reduce salt intake. This is quite a big one for me. In the thumbnail you'll have seen a picture of myself, and last night I had quite a high salty meal. There was probably around 3 or 4 grams in that salt in that meal. So again, if the recommendations are around 6 grams per day, you can see that I've had maybe 2/3 of that in one meal. Now I'm quite fortunate the rest of my day was quite low in salt, but at the same time it's caused a little bit of irritation in myself. Okay. Big thing that you can do is take digestive enzymes. I will talk about those in a minute, but that may help, and even a probiotic as well to help with the intestines and the digestive system as well. Herbal teas and plenty of water can be a big one. Make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. Ladies, aim for at least 2 litres a day. Males, hit at least 3 litres a day. So why do we want to reduce bloating? Now, taking probiotics and digestive enzymes, I mentioned them a second ago, help with the digestion of foods, with improving bacterial environment in the gut to help reduce bloating and gas. Okay, we want to reduce bloating and gas so we can allow the digestive system to work efficiently. Okay, so think about it as the digestive system as the gateway for food to get into our body. Okay, the digestive system is the gateway for our food. So bloating essentially is a reaction causing a roadblock for food to efficiently be digested and get into the blood to be utilised for energy. Now, if we're constantly bloated, we're constantly having irritation, and we're constantly having to deal with something that our body doesn't have to. So when we can kind of reduce the bloating as much as possible, or essentially the irritation as much as possible, the body is going to be able to work efficiently and get nutrients into the system to be able to feed ourselves and give ourselves enough quality energy. Okay, so imagine that we're just trying to make sure that that gateway isn't blocked. Okay, we want to just make sure it's efficient, working comfortably, and we can get nutrients into the system. Guys, that is everything I was going to cover with regards to bloating and irritation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please do like the content, share the video with as many people as possible so they can understand bloating and what causes it and how they can overcome that and start making progress with their results and their goals. Please do go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, post any comments, questions or concerns down below and I will answer them for you. If there's any content that you want to see, please do go ahead and post that and I'll get some content coming out for you on those topics. Thanks very much for checking this video out and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.